Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm Denise Salcedo, and today we are going to talk about WWE Dynamite. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is WWE Dynamite, which we're talking about here today. Just kidding, guys. What a night. Of course, we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite here today. Obviously, we kind of had the last couple minutes or moments, really, the last couple seconds of the show kind of get a tad bit spoiled. But overall, we still had a very, very solid night of entertainment, a blow away main event match. So much here today to talk about. I can't wait to dive into everything that occurred here today. But I must address the big elephant in the room at the moment. For those of you who are watching in the video side of things, I have an official news setup here at the moment. As you guys know, I was kind of getting a little bit boring with my boring wall behind me, and I finally had enough time to kind of put things together, shuffle things up a little bit. So if you are tuning in, I got a couple of cute stuff up here, although unfortunately my microphone is blocking a little bit of my decor, and so is my banner. But, you know, we got some cute stuff in here going on either way. I even went today to Walmart and got myself the AEW World Championship bucks. I was going to say bucks, belt, excuse me, the belt. Call me JR now, guys. I'm messing up things here. Anyways, I got the AEW World Championship belt for $19. That's what I wanted to say. So I was very thrilled about that, added to the decorations here. But as everybody is tuning in, I want to welcome you guys all into the show. Again, we do run through things here in chronological format, so we are going to go about it that way. However, I do want to remind you guys all that this is a very interactive show. I will be reading all of your thoughts, your comments, your questions, etc. as we go throughout the entire show. Also, if you guys want to make sure that your comment gets read on the air, you are more than welcome at any point throughout the show to send over a super chat. If you do send over a super chat, not only do I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, but you get your question read here. And also F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of all the proceeds that I make from super chats. And then I can have an even better setup. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and do this. Let's see what you guys are all saying here. Make sure to send in your comments. I'm just going to adjust my my camera for a second here. But let's do this, guys. I'm seeing a lot of comments about this JR situation, guys. Quite a few here today. And I'm going to read a couple of them, and then we're going to go into the actual show and kind of kick things off from the top. But let's talk about, let's see what we got here. A lot of people talking about my decorations. All right, here we go. We got our first super chat of the day. And this one is from Robert Payne. Thank you so much to Robert, who says, you saw Rebel get injured badly. I was there. She couldn't move her legs. Oh, Robert, you were there? Okay, so we saw an unfortunate poor Rebel, and I hate this because, you know, just yesterday we were here talking about Mercedes Martinez and what happened to her, and now, you know, we're out here talking about Rebel, and so I hope that she is okay. I know that Sean Ross Sapp did tweet out a quick update about Rebel here. My Twitter isn't working at the moment, but if somebody could let me know what he said, you guys can go ahead and share that in the chat here. But I believe, yeah, because I read the tweet, but I kind of just slipped my head right now what he actually said on that. But either way, I just hope that she's okay because it did not look good whatsoever. But thank you so much to Robert Payne for sending in this super chat here. But we have a lot of people talking about JR. And this is the comment from R. Riggs, who says, bring JR out for specials, but phase him off of commentary. Bloody Blue says JR was doing quite well on commentary today until the last minute here. And thank you so much, Labor Day. So the tweet over by Sean was essentially that Rebel is being checked out by the doctor. So I really hope that obviously everything is okay. But I do think that I honestly, in regards to Jim Ross, like I like him. I'm a fan of his, respect his work and all of that. But unfortunately, I feel like there has been a lot of things that, you're just like, why do you do that? Like on commentary. And this was definitely one of them. And this is not the first time where there's been an incident where he's referenced something about WWE. And it may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but I kind of feel like it is. Like if this, I'm just going to be honest, like if this was my promotion, like, I mean, first of all, it'd be great for me, but let's say this was my promotion and, I'm here, putting out all of, doing my best to put out this great product. And then you have this beautiful montage play out of, all of these things that, you just went through here at Daly's place. And it's supposed to be this, grand, goodbye, emotional send off and all of that. And then you call the company by the wrong name. To be honest, like I would kind of be upset about that. Like if I was the person in charge, I would be upset. I'd be like, oh man, like you can't do that, So personally, I feel like I would be upset. Maybe other people will just let it go. But for me personally, that's just how I would feel about that here. And this is what I hate because this is a true comment. This is from Roy Sanchez, who says that sadly, JR's comment overshadowed a great show. And this is kind of true because usually when, we come on here, what the biggest or most important thing that happened on the show is based on all of the comments that we get here. The comments on here on this chat as of this moment should have literally been about that awesome match that we just saw, with MJF and Sammy Guevara. Normally that's what you would see, but instead, we're here talking about JR because that did sort of kind of, I'm not going to say it ruined the show because that would just be too far-fetched to say, but it did ruin a nice moment for sure. But I honestly just think that the good way to handle JR, because I do like there are times where I think he does a great job, but I would think that it would be a little bit better to maybe have him call certain matches, maybe have him call certain shows, maybe not every single match, every single show. So that's my personal opinion, but obviously I am not the boss. I'm not the boss, anybody. I'm not the boss. So here we go. We got a comment from Sticker Reds who says Tony Khan has had terrible luck putting on great shows that nosedive in the absolute final seconds. Obviously, we've had a couple of those moments. Patrick Etheridge says, I've listened to JR commentating for many years at a very top level. I know he is making mistakes, but he deserves a few mulligans based on such an exemplary career. Yeah, I do get it. And I mean, as somebody who comes on here and streams every day, I mean, there are certain days where, like right now, like 2 minutes ago, instead of saying belt, I said buck. Why? Because, sometimes you're thinking so fast and you're trying to get everything out there and, you're talking as fast as, your thoughts come in. So you're bound to make mistakes. But I just think that certain mistakes are a little bit different than, some other mistakes. That's kind of like the best way to possibly put that here. But we have another super chat. This one is from Crifter C, who says, Miro just keeps getting better week by week. Hell yeah, dude. Like, this is what we have been waiting for from Miro. This is the best that he has looked. Like, body-wise, you can tell the man is feeling himself because he comes out there and he looks like a beast. But I don't need to tell you guys because you all see that. And I'm just glad that we're getting a nice little run with him as TNT champion. So thank you so much to Crifter for sending in this super chat here. This is another comment from Dalen about JR, who says, JR's multiple blunders make AEW look Bush League. That and his tendency to complain in ways that derails the conversation. Yeah, there have been moments where you can say that he has... I don't think he intentionally does it, but there have been moments where you can say that it kind of feels like he's burying some of the talent that he may not be that big of a fan of. And I know a lot of people have pointed that out. That has been a criticism. And it's unfortunate, but it is something that has been caught onto by fans, So that's basically what we're talking about with this. We have a comment from Nicholas who says, JR brings nothing new. Same old $2 steak commentary. Time for someone new. Hope Jericho retires soon and takes over for him. See, that's the thing too. Like overall, I really do wish that in wrestling, we kind of had like this newer faces when it comes to commentary. I feel like for the most part, we have like a lot of rinse and repeat of the same people doing these jobs. And it makes me wonder, like, isn't there like anybody else out there that's like going to come in, that can come in here and do some really good wrestling commentary? There are times where I feel like we do definitely need some fresh faces, but I guess that's how it is here. This is a comment from X Best in the World who says mistakes happen, but he's a commentator on national TV and he makes a mistake after that, after another. And then he says he also buries some of the company's views. Yeah, exactly. Some of the things that I really just mentioned right now. And I don't want to be like, I don't want to be too mean, because it's like, there's so many times where like, yeah, you can say like, you can criticize and all of this, but you never want to say like, oh, I hope someone loses their job, because you never want to be that person. And I don't want to be that person. But at the same time, I do have to say that the mistakes are one too many. And especially in moments like this, where again, it was supposed to be this very nice emotional moment. So you didn't necessarily want to have that ruined by saying WWE Dynamite, the rival company. So that's the best way that we can get at with all of this here. All right, guys, here we go. Let's jump into the entire show and everything that happened here today. If you guys want to get your comments read, send them in as they pertain to the subject that we are talking about. You do have a better chance of getting your comment read on the air if it pertains to the subject that we are on. So, we're back on Wednesdays, everyone. Finally, it feels good to be back on Wednesday. Again, this was the final show here at Daly's Place. I'm going to go back on the road, which is very exciting. Time to see some new faces in the crowds and all of that. But we kicked off things with a banger of a match, and we essentially had the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta. And this was good because it was a fun match. They gave us a preview of what we're going to be seeing next week. So that's very exciting. So obviously throughout the entire show, we had Chris Jericho on commentary. I'm a fan of Jericho on commentary. I've always liked Jericho on commentary because he's very smart in what he says. And obviously he knows, all of the talent. He knows the stories that they're trying to tell. And so he adds to all the matches. He adds to what the wrestlers are doing. He adds to to the stories that the wrestlers are trying to tell. And so I personally really enjoy Jericho on commentary. But one of the things we do have to discuss, which I'm not a fan of, so I'm sorry if I make people a little bit mad here, but I am not a fan of mustaches. No, I hate them. I'm sorry. I'm more of a beard gal. Like beards, totally cool with. Sideburns, totally cool with. But I'm not really feeling mustaches, to be honest. And boy, did the Bucks come out with a pair of very, very hairy mustaches. I don't know how else to explain their mustaches. Like they said, never mind. I was going to say a really bad joke, but here we go. That was definitely a subject to talk about here today, but basically, they said at the top of this that if Penta and Eddie win this match, they get a future title shot. And this is what I really liked about this match, is that at the top of this match, we were really seeing the Young Bucks sort of dominate here. But what I specifically liked is that every single week, we just see the Young Bucks become bigger and bigger heels. They keep stepping up their heel tactics. We keep seeing them do things that you're just like, oh, darn you. We definitely see that from the Bucks. There was a moment that I really, really enjoyed here, or that at least I felt like I was a fan of. And it was when we saw Eddie Kingston do a couple of headbutts on Nick Jackson. And then he gets him with a superplex and essentially turns the tables here on this match. He finally gets the tag on Penta. And once Penta comes in, he absolutely speeds up the pace of this match. And there was a moment where I swear to God that Penta definitely got the 3 count. And I thought the match was over. And I was like, what? Oh man, here we go. The match is over. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, it's a 2 count. And I was like, what? That was totally a 3 count. So they did it very well, to the point where I thought it was a 3 count. Obviously, we didn't see the replay of this. So I don't know if I was wrong or what happened there. We didn't get to see a replay of that. But I thought it was a very, very, very close one. One of my favorite things about this match too is that I felt that everybody brought something different. So you had Eddie Kingston essentially coming out and bringing this aggression. Eddie Kingston does things in a way that it's just like super badass. And then you have the Young Bucks, who obviously, they're doing some of their best heel work right now. So they're sort of bringing like the madness and all of that. But then you have Penta, who then comes in and he's the one bringing the fun, doing all the spots that we all love to see. So I really like the combination of all the guys in here sort of bringing something different to this match. We see Matt Jackson essentially kick Penta where the sun don't shine and almost allows for them to get the win here in this moment. I thought it was over, but then Kingston broke that up too. And we see the Good Brothers there. And this is a very funny part on commentary. So commentary basically starts questioning who the Good Brothers even work for. He starts saying like who they work for. Like, who do they even work for? And then Jericho throws in a funny line and he says something along the lines of, oh, I don't know, but they got fired from that other place. And I thought that was so funny. This literally turns bananas, guys. As you know, I mean, every post match every post-match on every match on AEW kind of turns into a mess here. This goes bananas. We see the Good Brothers come out. We see Frankie Kazarian come out. We see all of these shenanigans go down. And eventually we end up seeing Penta and Eddie Kingston get the win. So I, for one, like that this match was a tease of what we're going to be hopefully be seeing in their upcoming match. But what did you guys all think about this match? How do you guys feel about it? Go ahead and send in your thoughts. All right, let's see what we got here. We got a super chat from Crifter C. Thank you so much to Crifter, who says Nick Jackson's stealing Rick Steiner's goatee is hilarious, but I hope this doesn't stick for long. I agree. I'm not a fan. Again, I just said it right now, but I'm not a fan of the mustaches, and it's going to take me a hot minute or two to really kind of get accustomed to this. Like, I prefer them nice and clean shaven, all right? So I kind of hope we don't get to see it. We don't have to see them all the time, but then at the same time, it's working though. It's working. Their heels, they're coming out with this lavish clothing and, their beads on their bandanas, and they're coming out with these funky earrings and these colorful prints and, this really weird sort of tacky clothes. And it goes with what they're doing. So now you add, this facial hair and I mean, they've just leveled it up just a notch. And I like that. I like the fact that they're thinking outside the box here and really just finding ways to get under your skin. They're definitely getting under my skin. Labor Day brings up the danglies. We have a comment from Daniel Zambrana, who says that this match was excellent. Eddie is so great at working in tags and telling stories with partners. Great way to kick off this show. Yeah, I do have to agree with you on this comment too, Daniel, is that we always see Eddie adjust depending on who he's partnering with. And that's obviously, obviously it's bound to happen, but you got to point that up here. I really like it. And let's see what else we got here. This is one from Pro Wrestling Fan who says, dead ass though. The way Kenny's facial hair looked was good on him. You know what? I will say this. I like the facial hair more on Kenny Omega than I did the Bucks. It went just a tad bit more with Kenny Omega than it did with the Bucks. So I will agree with that, okay? Alrighty, guys. Let's see what we got here. We're going to move on to the next segment of the show. After this, we had a backstage segment here with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. And basically, we see Christian Cage, again, giving him this, father speech, whatever you want to call it. He starts to tell him that, his loss against Kenny, that he's going to learn something from it, says that he one day believes that he's going to be a champion. And then you see Luchasaurus come. And he tells Christian, he essentially thanks him for being there for Jungle Boy and for having his back. So then he promises to have his back now. And that's really nice. Manners from Luchasaurus. I think we can all thank him and appreciate him for that. But then afterwards, Cage says something along the lines of him being part, I don't know what, but I'm assuming it's some sort of dinosaur. I have no idea. I don't even know what the word exactly was that he said. All I know is that he basically made it seem like he's part dinosaur or something. And then Luchasaurus is like, oh man, that's so cool. And so they start bonding and walk off screen, and Jungle Boy is just looking up at them. And that's basically how this segment actually ends. I thought it was hilarious though, because again, the whole Christian saying that he's part, I don't know what he says, I thought was really, really funny. Let's see what you guys thought here. And Joseph Boza says Jungle Boy's title shot on TV got AEW 650K on Saturday, up 100K from Friday. Dude, Jungle Boy is living the life right now, guys. If you guys caught We're Live Pal, the new show with myself, Andrew Zarian, and Garrett Gonzalez, Garrett asked me and Andrew at the end of the show who we thought the MVP in wrestling was this week. And my answer and Andrew's answer was Jungle Boy. It was definitely Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is winning in every aspect that a person can win in. He's, doing phenomenal on the career side. He just had this explosive match with Kenny Omega. And then he's out there getting the kiss and getting a handful of his new girl, Anna. And I'm just thinking, yep, Jungle Boy. And he's got a great head of hair. I mean, what else can he possibly want? Jungle Boy is thriving. He's thriving. All right. The Cooge 97 says Jungle Boy is living la vida loca. Hell yeah, dude. I want to switch lives with Jungle Boy. I think we all want to switch lives with Jungle Boy here. All right. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. This is a comment from DG Call Day K, who says Jungle Boy broke the ratings on Saturday, the internet on Monday, then living the best life on Wednesday. He has a dinosaur for a friend. I mean, come on. Jungle Boy has it all. Man, now I'm just really jealous of Jungle Boy. Honestly, that's kind of about it here. Brandon Rosen says, I died when Marco Stunt just appeared from behind Jungle Boy's back. He was hiding in the equipment the whole time. Our Riggs questions is Christian 1/4 Triceratops. I don't know. I don't remember the exact wording that he said. I don't know my dinosaurs beyond Triceratops and oh man, I forgot the other ones. Oh God, that's so bad. All right. Ignore this portion of the show. All right. The one from Toy Story, the ones from Jurassic Park. Those are all the dinosaurs I know. Brandon Rose. And I used to watch The Land Before Time when I was a kid. All right, Brandon Rosen sends in a super chat and says, I died when Marcus Stunt appeared from behind Jungle Boy from hiding in the equipment. Oh, Brandon, I just read it in your normal comment, but thank you so much for sending it in a super chat. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. High Score Run says, men want to be him. Hell, women want to be him too. Hell yeah. Sign me up. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Daniel who says, honestly, I think him getting in those segments with Cage is good for his promos to develop and for him to get comfortable on camera. Dude, I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but I might as well mention it now. So I mentioned this, I think it was my post. It was my AEW Double or Nothing recap. And I was telling you guys about Jungle Boy and the press conference and basically how he was saying that, he just gets like a mad amount of anxiety and, all of this, right? And he says, usually when his music hits, that all goes away, right? Okay, cool. But I felt like today, he definitely showed up and like, he was feeling himself for sure. He was looking so much more confident. Like we were seeing the birth of a new man here. He was like playing more to the camera. I just felt it was a lot more than we usually see him do. I mean, they could have just like added a fan. His hair could have been blowing. I mean, it was fantastic. He really did come out with like a new set of, I don't know what you want to call it. He had a lot of confidence. Hal Haney asks, is Christian turning? I think we talked about this last week, and I do think that Christian is definitely turning. It makes sense, honestly, and I like that they're already planting the seeds because, Christian is sort of coming out here as somebody who has his back, as somebody who's here with all the wisdom, and obviously he has years of experience on Jungle Boy. So, Jungle Boy is obviously, falling for that. And so I think they're telling a pretty good story here. And I think that, if they are going to do Christian Cage Jungle Boy, I think it's a very exciting next chapter for Jungle Boy. So I'm definitely all in on that. All right, guys, here we go. But let's move into the next segment that we have here. And I like this one. Again, this was I liked AEW Dynamite tonight. Overall, I would just say I thought it was a good show, a decent show. But here we go. we had Tony Schiavone, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page all come out, and boy, was the crowd booing Ethan Page. The guy could not get a word out, but it made this segment so much better. The crowd really elevated the segment so much more because they were like getting under his skin and just kind of pissing him off. I thought it was great. So we essentially have Tony Schiavone asking Ethan Page, why a coffin match? Like, why does he want this coffin match with Darby? And Page says that he feels he hasn't been doing enough to keep Darby down. Says that, and as he's trying to even get his words out, the crowd is not letting him talk whatsoever. So I thought that was awesome. And essentially, he says he's been trying to get rid of Darby, says that crippling him physically is no longer an option because he's tried that. He's been there with Darby, but that now he has to step it up and essentially cripple him mentally. He essentially wants to ruin Darby's confidence, and that's what his goal is essentially. And then we see Sting coming out. Sting comes out carrying a coffin, not carrying, but he has like the string, and the string is pulling the coffin. And then they quickly play a video of Darby, and Darby is essentially like, I think in some sort of backwoods, I don't know, but he has the Ethan Page mask on his face, and I think he's like burning a coffin. He's like setting it on fire. At least that's what it looked like. He was setting on fire there. And then out of nowhere, he just pops out from the coffin. And now I just realized that he definitely was setting the coffin on fire because the coffin had like these like smoke streaks on it. And I even posted on Twitter that it reminded me of a s'more because it had like those flaming streaks on the coffin. So anyway, so he comes out of the coffin, pops on out of there, and runs to attack Ethan Page. And then he literally gets his fingernails and shoves them on Page's eyes and is just like gouging his eyes there. And finally, they're able to break it off. And Page essentially says that he's not good. He calls the match off. He calls the coffin match off, says he's no longer doing it. But then he says that if Darby signs a contract, makes an agreement that he is not going to touch Ethan Page until this match, that they will then essentially do this match, but only if essentially Darby is a good boy and keeps his hands off of him. So I honestly got to say that I like this segment. I thought that what they did was fun, and they're looking like they're pushing this match to Fyter Fest because that is what Ethan Page mentioned that they could still have this match at Fyter Fest once again, only if Darby signs this agreement to not lay his hands on him until they actually have this match. We have a funny comment from Labor Day who says, Darby's nails, fool said, hell yeah, Darby's nails, better than mine. I was very jealous. We have a comment from the Keys Boo who says, Ethan Page was one of the few bright spots of Impact a year ago, so when I watched a few shows for the first time in forever, not surprised AEW snatched him up. We actually have 2 super chats. Thank you so much to Daniel Zambrano. He says, considering what just happened in Miami with the building collapse, moving the coffin match seems like the cautious right move. You know, I didn't think about that, and I didn't piece those 2 things together. Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even think about that. Obviously, you know, I saw what happened in Miami and all of that, but I just didn't piece the 2 things together. But thank you so much to Daniel for sending in a super chat and also bringing that up. We also have another super chat. This one is from Crifter C, who says, I know Sean doesn't like the what chants, but during this segment, I realized that I've kind of missed them. Dude, I miss everything from the crowds. Like even in the main event with just the crowd like on the edge of their seats standing up, and they were like all in anticipation of what was going to happen. Even that, and I was so glad that Jericho, you know, made a mention of it on commentary, because just even the fact that there was people there to like be excited and they're waiting to see what's going to happen, and you know they're standing up. It's something so simple, so basic. It's not like I've never seen a human stand up before, but it's nice to have that there. It really is nice. And I think that obviously, you know, with the past year and a half and everything that we've been through, all of that, I think that we're just appreciating the little things a little bit more. And while we're on the subject of what chants, sue me, guys, sue me. I am a what chant girl. All right. At the events, I'm the person Yelling what? I don't care. I think it's so much fun to do. And the way that I see it is if you pay your hard-earned money to go to these shows, you can chant whatever the hell you want. I mean, as long as it's not like something terrible, chant whatever you want. What is not terrible? If you want to chant what? You want to chant gay? Do whatever you want. You paid your hard-earned money. Thank you so much to Crifter C for sending in that super chat. All right, I think I got all of the super chats here, but let's see what else we got here. B Mactastic says, I was just saying I did not miss the what chance. Too many years of that in WWE. Bloody Blue says, Denise is canceled. What? All right, sorry guys, it's so fun. I don't know how you guys don't like what chants. Oh my god, they are so much fun. And Grunion says, with enough beers, everyone is a what chant person. That's true. That is true. Although I don't drink, but I still get your reference here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on now. All right, so after this, we had, all right, let's do this. Jack Evans versus Jungle Boy. And I kind of touched on this a little bit, but just for the sake of somebody who's just fast forwarding or something, Jungle Boy came out here with superb confidence. Again, the guy is, I don't know if glowing is the right word. Glowing's not the right word. You know what? Darn it, Jungle Boy is glowing. He is glowing. The man just came off this hot match with Kenny Omega. He's the talk of the town, broke the internet. Matt Hardy says that he's sending Jack Evans to attack him because he got in Matt's way, and Matt Hardy just wants Jungle Boy to hurt him. He definitely did not hurt him. Jungle Boy, basically, like everything that this was a simple match. Like this match, I won't say was extraordinary by any means. This was a simple match, but everything that they did had extra fire. Like everything had extra flair, I should say. And this match ended up being a lot faster than I thought it would be. We saw Jungle Boy get the win here, but I feel like the story makes sense here. Of course, you would have Jungle Boy win. I mean, think of in a fast match, in a really no competition match for him, because he just had his match with Kenny Omega. He's obviously not going to be struggling to defeat Jack Evans. On AEW, Jack Evans is technically not at the level of Jungle Boy, you could say, in storyline. And so with that being said, he shouldn't be struggling to defeat Jack Evans. So I thought that this definitely made sense. However, selfishly speaking, I definitely wanted to see a longer match between these two, because we all know that Jack Evans can go. And he can go, okay? And so I kind of wanted to see a little bit of a longer match, a little bit more, fun spots. You guys know I'm here for all that type of stuff. So I really was kind of hoping for a little bit of a longer match here. But post-match, we see Christian come to the aid of Jungle Boy. Obviously, with Hardy being out there and all of that. But Christian Cage ends up choking out Matt Hardy. And again, this is still planting the seeds to what many expect is going to happen with Christian possibly turning on Jungle Boy. And it makes sense. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right. Let's see. We have a lot of comments about Jungle Boy becoming a jungle man. That's probably the best way that I can say this here. Joseph says this was another Jungle Boy match that I felt like the stuff after the match was more interesting, he says. Christian Cage issue with the Hardy family office continue. Yeah, again, this match wasn't a blowaway match. It really wasn't. But then again, I don't think it necessarily, I wouldn't mind it if it was. It would just kind of keep that momentum that Jungle Boy is riding at an all-time high. Jen Sensui, who says, Jungle Boy is so crazy over now. He's like the protagonist of wrestling. And Nicholas says he better be glowing. He got Anna. Seriously. Let's see what else we got here. And I think I got most of these comments. Everybody here is a what chant hater. You know what? No what chant haters allowed on my podcast. All right? No. Lie to me. Lie to me here. Got to be a fan of the what chants. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on, though. Actually, before we do, a friendly reminder for those of you who are all here today, I have a brand new interview up right now with Tommaso Ciampa, and it was such a badass interview. I am such a big fan of his and his work. And so I had the chance to talk with him. I think we did like 20, 25 minutes, which went a little longer than I usually get with these interviews. But still, we talked about so much. We talked about his match with Walter. We talked about him teaming with Timothy Thatcher. I mean, he gave so much insight in this interview. It was insane. Like, you get so much in that short amount of time. If you guys want to check it out, you are more than welcome to. You can go to youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. You will see the link on there. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, on there, I have a special playlist that promotes all of my videos from the week, and you guys can go and find them from no matter what channel they're on. You can find them on my YouTube channel. Like, I have them there. And so you can definitely check out that interview with him. Also, if you do not know already, although I know most of you guys know, I am on here recapping not only NXT on Tuesdays, but also here Wednesdays, Dynamite, and not WWE Dynamite, AEW Dynamite. I'm here on Wednesdays. Obviously, we're back on Wednesday, so that's very exciting. And then Fridays, I am on here talking about Smackdown. Always a really fun show. And then I mentioned earlier that We're Live Pal is now on Tuesdays. That's with myself, Andrew, and Garrett. And, you know, we're a new team. We're finding our groove. But so far, people seem to be liking the show. So you guys can also check that out on Tuesdays. A lot of programming happening, which is why I had to get a new setup. And this is going to change, guys. This is still going to change. This is still not perfect because it's still not perfect, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, guys, here. I'm going to go see what else we got. Any other comments that I wanted to get to before we move on? All right, cool. Let's move on to the MJF promo that we got from him. So MJF comes out, says that he's dethroned Jericho as the king of AEW. He says that he has declassed him in every single promo, says that Chris Jericho, according to MJF, turned wrestling into a perverted version of Looney Tunes. And to be honest, I don't even think I get that metaphor or analogy or whatever. I don't get it. He says he's laughing because he believes that Jericho is now a joke, that he used to be a genius in wrestling, but that he's not anymore. And he questions him by asking him, how low are you willing to stoop? He then says that next week he is going to announce a stipulation for a future match with them. He says one more match, but that after MJF beats him, that he has to leave him alone. MJF says that, I don't know what I wrote there. Okay. Essentially, MJF tells Sammy, he then turns the tables on Sammy and tells Sammy to go tell his Sammy Simps, I repeat, his Sammy Simps, that MJF is better than him and that he knows it. So that was a pretty fun promo. Obviously, all the MJF promos are. Comment here from Sparrow Mint, who says, I felt like this promo's timing telegraphed too much that Sammy would lose. Did you really? Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, you're right on this. But I think a lot of, not just this promo, I think a lot definitely telegraphed that Sammy would be winning for sure. All right, guys, but let's go ahead and move on. So after this, we had a backstage interview with Andrade. And essentially, he comes out, and what we find out is that it's going to be Matt Sydal, or like he said, Matt Sydal versus Andrade in Miami. He says Miami, the city of Latinos, the city of Scarface, Road Rager next week. So next week, we're going to be seeing the AEW Dynamite in-ring debut of Andrade against Matt Sydal. And I just got to say the exact same thing that I said last week in regards to this. I am not liking the presentation of Andrade on AEW so far. And I already talked about this last week, so I won't say it again, but I feel the exact same way this week. So I hope, and he's going to have a good match with Matt Sydal. I think he is. You know, obviously Matt Sydal does a lot of cool stuff. I think that I don't know if I necessarily want this to be a squash. Maybe it should be a squash, just so that either way, Andrade needs to look dominant in this. I think just based on all of the things that they've had him do prior to this match, he hasn't been looking like that big of a star. And I think that how this match goes with Matt Sydal is really going to telegraph how AEW sees him on the AEW roster and what what his spot on the roster is essentially going to look like. So I think that next week will be something to pay attention to with that match with Matt Sydal. And let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Brian Yount who says the subtitles have to go. This is something that I brought up on Twitter. And obviously, as you guys know, when it comes up to giving an opinion, not everyone's going to agree with you. And I got probably, I would say 50-50 people agreeing and disagreeing with me, because I honestly, and I've talked about this on the show before, I don't necessarily, when Andrade speaks Spanish, yes, okay, put the subtitles on. I'm totally cool with that. That's perfectly fine. Okay, cool. But when he speaks English and they put the subtitles on, personally, I find it a little bit disrespectful. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's how I see things. However, I did have a couple of people on Twitter argue that, and I forget the exact wording that they use, but essentially they feel that it helps them more. People that are hard of listening or whatever the case may be, they feel that it helps them more. So I thought, okay. But I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, guys. But what can I just think that it kind of, it feels a little disrespectful. But maybe I'm completely wrong on that here. Let's see. Yeah, Alex Aguilera says it felt just as insulting when they would put subtitles on Sheeta. Yeah. See, there you go. Like, it's not... It's a touchy subject, guys. It's a really touchy subject, because just because someone has an accent or maybe they don't say the words perfectly, I just feel like, see, here we go. Thank you. Havo says the subtitles were disrespectful. So I'm clearly not the only person who feels this way. Cap says Alex should have been his manager. Yeah, because Alex did a fantastic job at obviously, translating and really adding a lot of enthusiasm to his translation. Like, he wasn't like when he was translating like the Lucha Bros, like he wasn't just like saying like, oh, this is what he's saying, like in a robotic voice or anything like that. Like, I'm just a simple translator. No, like he was adding pizzazz. Like if he was the one cutting, the promo. So I like that. And I think that they should do something like that with Andrade, or I don't know, or just let him be him. Like, I don't like the subtitles. So that's how I feel about that, okay? That's how I feel. Labor Day says Santana spoke Spanish without the subtitles. Yeah, they haven't put subtitles on him. And see, that's the thing too. It's like when, we see that a lot in wrestling where, you have your Latino stars that are, speaking English, and then they'll throw in a couple of Spanish words. And yeah, that does obviously happen. Like, I'll be here around my house doing the exact same thing. I'll be speaking English, and then all of a sudden I'm talking Spanish. But I just don't think that the subtitles should be there. I don't know, but some people are going to agree with me. Some people are not. The Cooch points out Spanglish. Yeah. This is a comment from Samaya who says, I don't understand what he's saying without it. He has a very heavy accent though, and English is my second language. See, I get it though. I get what you mean. Like, if English is your second language, and I get all of that. But again, I'm just not a fan of it. This is a comment from L Professor Jr. 88 who says, as a Mexican American, I understand his broken English. I don't mind the subtitles for those who don't. Yeah. See, you can see it two ways. You can see it like he does, or even like me, that I just kind of consider it. I just feel like it lessens his star power. I don't know. That's how I feel about this. Rafael Jimenez says, I feel the same way as you do. Yeah. So, all right. Either way, it's not like they're going to take them off. I mean, they might as well just keep doing that. Brandon says, I missed a super chat. Let me scroll up 1 second. All right, here we go. Oh, thank you so much, Brandon. I apologize. I did not see the super chat. Thank you so much for sending this in. He says, you were right last week, Denise, when you said Andrade's presentation has been almost disrespectful. Don't like the subtitles when he's speaking English. Yeah, because last week they had him come out with Vickie, and they were going to talk about something, and then they just Matt Sydal comes out, and then they just do their match. So obviously now that's led into this match, but still, last week it didn't come across that way. Last week it just came across as like, oh, like that was really dumb. And so At least they worked it into something. That's all I can say. Thank you so much to Brandon Rosen for sending in this super chat here. All right, guys. And lastly, I guess I'll read a comment from, we got a couple more here. This one is from Sparrow Mints. It says, I somewhat get it because he switches to Spanish for whole sentences and he's saying things that aren't just taunt like Penta. I can see what you mean, though. Labor Death says, Andrade looks like a bigger star than the way they are presenting him. Feels too small. He himself, I think he's doing the part in terms of like even just the way that he comes dressed, like the way that he presents himself, he's exuding that star power. But everything else surrounding his story, like from the very beginning, just hasn't screamed star power whatsoever. I feel like we might see him go down the same road that we saw Miro. And I know somebody else brought that up last time when we were talking about this, that, Miro came in and, it was a shocker, like, oh, he's an AEW, this and that. And then afterwards, nobody was happy with what they were doing with him. But now look at him now, he's TNT champion and, all this and that. So maybe that's an option for what we're going to be seeing with Andrade. Who knows? Again, like I said, obviously the following weeks we're going to, see more often. This is a comment from a super chat. Thank you so much from Anthony Diaz, who says, is MJF injured? I don't know about that. So I don't know. So I can't really give you an answer unless something has been said while I've been on this live stream. I do not know. But thank you so much to Anthony for sending in this super chat. We also have another super chat. This one is from OJ Sim. Thank you so much to OJ, who says, subtitles for foreigners feels Russo-esque. Also, it's Miro Day and RIP Truth Slayer. YouTube Wrestling OG, very sad. Prayers to his friends and family. Thank you so much to OJ Sim for sending this in. And yes, prayers to Truth Slayer as well. Geraldo Alvarez says, you're digging for something that isn't there. If Andrade didn't like it, it wouldn't be there. You could argue the exact same thing. Yeah, you can argue that. But like I said, if I see something and I feel a certain way about what I'm watching, I'm going to come out and I'm going to say it on the show. I'm not looking for anything because I'm not looking for anything. I don't feel like I'm looking for something. It was instantaneous. The second I saw the subtitles, I thought, oh, well, that's not fun. And you got to understand too, like I'm Latina. All right. So like add that on top of that. So I'm coming out here with like a different maybe outlook. But then again, we just had somebody else mention the exact same thing, that it didn't bother them. And it's going to bother some people. It's not going to bother everybody. And all right, guys. And we have another comment from Bloody Blues that says, I can see your point, but I think it's a really minor issue. I don't think it affects people all that much. I think he's a star and will prove it in the ring. We have another super chat. This one is from T5, Doug Great, who says, I don't think it's disrespectful. It's hard to understand what he's saying. I think y'all are over exaggerating. Guys, this is a democracy. So you are definitely allowed to share your opinion. It does not have to match with mine whatsoever. Obviously, like I said, people are going to be 50-50 as they are on like literally every issue. Some people are going to agree. Some people are not. That's cool. But thank you so much to T5, Doug Gray, who paid us hard-earned money to get his opinion out here. And that's the way to do it. Thank you so much to T5, Doug Gray. All right, guys, let's move on from this here. All righty. We are going to move on to the Kenny Omega interview with Tony Schiavone. Again, he comes out sporting the new stash with sideburns, and he comes out and he says he feels like a king ever since he woke up. He talks about all the people that he's defeated, and you're really feeling the swagger from him. A lot of people were making comparisons to him and Triple H with the sideburn look, the facial beard. Someone sent me a side-by-side photo. I appreciated that. And he then starts to say that he's going to take a little time off and that you're going to see him elsewhere, though, because he has a bunch of bouts. But then the Dark Order comes out, and Evil Uno says that he thinks differently, that Kenny Omega does have challengers. And then Kenny, he kind of pulls a Roman Reigns, is kind of like starting to mock them, basically saying that, they're not even close to being at his level. He throws some jabs at 5, and he says that they're nowhere near ranked to challenge him. And Evil Uno says that he knows all that, but that he also knows somebody. He says the number 1 singles ranked competitor in AEW. And then Omega says, if I know who you're talking about, if it's the same exact person that I think you're talking about, they didn't say any names here, but he says if it's the same person, that I think you're talking about, then I don't think that person wants you to come out here and speak on his behalf. And then he says that he also feels that that person does not have the guts. Obviously, we all know that they're talking about Hangman Page, all right? Fast forward, we do see after all of this, we get some more stuff happen, but let's fast forward to Dark Order and Hangman Page backstage. So after that, we then see Hangman Page kind of get upset at the Dark Order for essentially going out there and, kind of throwing his name in there without his approval. And then Dark Order kind of gives him like a little bit of a speech about like believing in himself. And then this starts to feel like an intervention. And they start talking about, failure and believing in yourself. And they are doing the story that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I figured that they were doing. They started teasing this a couple weeks back that maybe Hangman Page has lost a little bit of confidence, or maybe he just doesn't want to go back to that time period in his life where everything went down with the Elite, with Kenny Omega, and all of that. So I like that they've taken their time with this and that they've planted the seeds and that we had this, essentially we can say that, Hangman Page not necessarily feeling confident enough to go after the AEW World title to face off against Kenny Omega, I feel is actually probably one of the most relatable things going on right now on AEW Dynamite, because so many times you just see it as, everyone's always ready to go after the title. Even if they're not really ready, they're always ready to go. But if you think about that, is that always believable? It probably isn't. It probably isn't always realistic. And this is more realistic with Hangman Page. He's not so sure about himself. And so I want to see how this story is going to progress. And, when Hangman Page is going to have that trigger where he's like, you know what, maybe I am going to go after the belt. So I do like what they're telling with this story. So actually we got a super chat. Thank you so much to Anthony Diaz. Anthony Diaz sends in a super chat and he says, what's the outlook potential for Brian Pillman Jr.? Dude, they're popular. Varsity Blondes, they are popular. Okay. I don't know what the potential is. I feel like the potential is there. But I just know that because they're popular, I feel like that is why I think that's already a good start there. But here's the thing. I'll be honest with you, and it's the next thing that we're going to talk about, so I might as well get into it now. With Miro versus Brian Pillman Jr., I didn't necessarily think that this match, to me, was just a match. It was just a match. I didn't think anybody came out necessarily. I'm going to word this properly. So Brian Pillman, I didn't think we necessarily saw anything different than we have already seen with Brian Pillman, and Miro was Miro in this match. So a lot of times, there's certain guys that we don't always get to see, have singles matches, and then they have a singles match and you're like, oh my God, they completely blew me away. I don't think I felt this way for Miro versus Brian Pillman Jr. I just kind of felt like maybe they could have used this opportunity to actually maybe showcase him a little bit stronger in this match. And I kind of came out of this match feeling the exact same way about Brian Pillman Jr. Like, I didn't like him any less, and I didn't become a bigger fan. I felt exactly the same coming out of this match. So, I think that's like the best way to explain that. But thank you so much to Anthony Diaz for sending in the super chat. We actually have another one from Brandon Rosen who says, the seed has sprouted. Can't wait to see how the Hangman Omega story develops. Already excited about a possible Hangman Omega title match at All Out. Ooh, I would be so excited for that. I'm going to be at All Out. So I definitely would love to see that. But again, we do not know. But here we go. Let's see what you guys are saying here. So for the match itself, though, again, I thought it was just a match. We do see Miro get him with a suplex. We see when we come back from the commercials, we see we see a roundhouse kick from Miro to Pillman, and then another kick straight to the head. I thought that was a pretty good spot there, and then he ends up winning with the game over. So it was somewhat of a quick match here, but like I said, to me, I thought it was an okay match. But let's see what we got here. We have a comment from Haj Gulashi who says, disagree. No one thought Pillman was going to win other than Pillman himself, and he made that come through. Which made the match interesting, in my opinion. We have a comment from DJ Call Day K who says they did, though. He didn't tap, and he had a massive strength on Miro's lock. We have another comment from Simray Punk who says it was a mid-card match on a weekly Dynamite. It's not his time yet. Nicholas Jackson says, love the start of the match to Omega versus Paige, but please wait for it to be at All Out. I need this to happen in person in Chicago. There you go. He likes the push to this match, but wants the match to actually wait here. And let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Dr. Sophia who says Pillman is a great natural babyface. He is. He really, really is. And Daniel says, I thought Pillman was absolutely great in that match, bumped and sold like he should in a match like that. His fire and comebacks were stellar. And K-Town Shutdown 21 says, I don't think lightning is going to strike twice with Pillman like it did with JB. Jungle Boy, at least not yet. Yeah, they got to give him a little more. It's got to be a little bit more spectacular. If you want it to, again, like K-Town put it here, lightning to strike, you got to give us a little bit more. That's all I got to say here. And Patrick Etheridge says, I do see some flying Brian and Brian Pillman Jr. in this match. Good stuff. Nicholas says, the one thing I hated about the Miro match tonight was his new music. What? I didn't even notice his new music. Dang. Where was my brain at? I didn't even notice. Our Rig says Pillman was good, but he needs more time. Oh, man, guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. Before we do, I just want to remind you guys all that I am going to be back on Friday to talk about Smackdown. It is my most chill show of the week. We always come in, have a blast. It's a pretty good time. So if you guys want to come in and hang out for Friday Night Smackdown, you guys most definitely can. Also, I do live tweet during every single wrestling show. So if you guys want to come chat with me in the moment of as it's happening, feel free to follow me on Twitter at _ Denise Salcedo. You can also follow me on Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo. I'm trying to get to 31K by the end of the year. That is my goal. That is the vision. So hopefully it'll happen. I got a couple ways. I got a ways to go here. Patrick NG714 says, how could you not notice? I don't know. Well, I don't know why I didn't notice. I don't know. Sometimes it happens, guys. Sometimes it happens. But let's see what you guys all thought about the new music here. God, where's my brain? Daniel says, I love the new music. Bloody Blue says his new music fits the current character much better. I like it. Haj Gulashi says his new music fits the character so much better than the stupid Best Man song. There you go. Mark Shields, thank you. He says it was very forgettable. God, thank you. Man. All right, guys. Labor Day says Salcedo was probably taking notes. Yeah, probably not a good one since I missed it. And we have a comment from Cinema Poppy who says Miro's music is exactly what he needed. I need to go back and listen to that, guys. Sorry about that. All right, let's move on, though. After this, we have Team Taz making announcements. They had already said this heading into the show that they were going to have breaking news. It's Taz, Hobbs, and Hook backstage. And Taz is basically saying that things have been a little bit toxic amongst Team Taz. He says, obviously Ricky Starks and Brian Cage are not there at the moment, and things between them haven't necessarily been so great. And so he announces that on July 14th that the medically cleared Ricky Starks will be challenging Brian Cage for his FTW bout. So exciting to know that Ricky Starks is coming back. He's going to have a match with Brian Cage. Really looking forward to that. And he essentially closes it out by saying that sometimes this was I don't know if I can agree with what he said here, but he says sometimes family members have to have a good old-fashioned fight to clear things up. Definitely not in my family, but you know what? Sometimes in some families, maybe Not mine. I don't know whose, but some families. All right, we got a super chat from Daniel Zambrano who says, with all the crap in pro wrestling, Paige Dark Order being about men caring for each other and uplifting one another in the spotlight of the show is great. Exactly. I tweeted this out too. I was like, dang, I need people like that in my life. Dark Order went out of their way to go confront Kenny Omega and tell him to his face that he was wrong, that he does not have competitors, that he does. And they went out there and they basically told him, you know who can be challenging you for the belt. And so, you know what? They went out there and they did that for their friends. That is so nice. And then they got in trouble for it. But hey, they went out there. They put themselves out there. That's great. Thank you so much to Daniel for sending in the super chat. I thank you very, very much. We have a prediction here. This one is from DG, who says that Starks will take the belt from Brian Cage, that he has a feeling he might as well. They haven't done anything with that belt, so he might as well do something with it. The Keys Boo points out, useless title, but title nonetheless. Like I just said, they haven't done anything with it. Martin Curiel says the FTW title is finally being defended. I'm hyped. I don't know if I'm not hyped. I appreciate your hypeness though, Martin, but because it's not really, like I said, it sort of feels meaningless. I'm not hyped, but maybe after this match, it'll actually mean something more. We have a comment from Major Blood who says the FTW belt is on the line for the first time in AEW since it debuted. Useless, pointless title, but Brian Cage is likely getting screwed out of the title. Nicholas says this match is pretty easy to predict. Hook or Hobbs throws Starks the belt, he wins, and they get rid of Brian Cage. And that would make sense too, considering the fact that, you know, they've been including this bout in like all of their matches, trying to get Brian Cage to cheat with the FTW bout. He hasn't wanted to cheat with the FTW bout. So if he loses in that way, it would actually sort of be like this poetic thing. So yeah, I can definitely see that happening as well. And Pillman Wrestling makes a joke saying the $1 million championship has been used more than the FTW title. That is true. They had a ladder match for it, and now they're going to have another match in which Cameron Grimes might become LA Knight's butler. So yeah, you're definitely right on that too. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on. Actually, I'll read one more comment. This one's from Justin, who says, I don't really care about the belt, but I'm excited to see Cage and Starks finally go one-on-one. I agree. And I like Ricky Starks a lot. I think that there's a lot of potential in him, a lot of upside. The guy has a lot of personality, and even the way that he dresses, he brings forth a lot of like, He has a presence is what I'm trying to get at. He has a presence. And Cinema Poppy says, I want to see Brian Cage destroy the title and leave the group. Oh, okay. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on. After this, we had a match between Nyla and Vickie versus Britt and Rebel. There was a moment at the top of this match where I was like, is Vickie going to do a frog splash? What the hell? Because she did like the Eddie dance, and then I kind of saw her going up like the turnbuckles, and I was like, what the heck? Obviously she didn't do it, but I kind of thought it was a little funny that for a split second I was like, what is happening here? This is a very quick match. We see Britt get the lockjaw on Vickie, and she's out. That's how she loses this match. And Britt and Rebel essentially have this very easy win. Obviously, you know, given the fact that you have Vickie in this match, obviously it's not going to be like this, you know, amazing tag team match by any means. But we did see after the match, we see Nyla attack Britt Baker from behind. She power bombs her and then puts her through a table. But we did see Rebel unfortunately get hurt during this match. And again, we kind of talked about this at the top of this here, that, you know, it's always unfortunate to see somebody get hurt. So I hope that she's okay. And, you know, I'm sure there's going to be more news, maybe even after this podcast or within the next few hours, about the status of how she is. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Dr. Sophia Bonilla, DWO EVP, who says, not a good match, not the way to do two heels. See, I did like Nyla putting Britt through the table. I actually thought not only did it look visually impressive, but I thought, all right, they got to give Nyla a little something here. You know, Britt is, you know, she's this, you know, ever since winning the title, she's obviously been, you know, writing, like she's been at the very top of her game. So you do kind of have something to, maybe bring her down just a tad. And Nyla did so there. So I do kind of like how they're going with this feud between Britt and Nyla. So I'm okay with this. I liked her putting her through the table. I thought that was perfectly fine. This is a comment from Luke Hames. It says, hopefully Rebel is all right. I heard she tweaked her knee pretty good. Yeah, oh man, it sucks. And I hate that. Again, I mentioned this at the top of the show, but yesterday we were talking about Mercedes Martinez, and now here we're talking about Rebel. I hate having to do this back to back, but dang guys, it's wrestling. Like it's going to happen, right? Let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Daniel who says, honestly, I was dreading this match, but Britt's heel work, the little bit in the ring with Nyla and Vickie catching the submission, which is great. The post-match ruled. Yeah, I think it was really the post-match stuff that was really just like the highlight of all of this here. Justin Martin says, I was hoping this would be a setup for Thea Trinidad to show up. Oh, wow. It was still funny to see Vickie tapping out even after the hold was broken. Yeah, Vickie is hilarious. That's the thing about Vickie is that no matter what she's given, like I like what she does and I like what she brings because I feel she's one of the few people that can actually do that. When she just comes out and she starts yelling and saying, excuse me, it is so easy to like piss people off and for people to be like, screw you. It's very easy to get angry at her, but everything that she does, she understands what her role is in everything and she does it very well. So I did like her like being like this over exaggerated, like, oh my God. And then even afterwards, she was like, darn it, I lost the match. Like, darn it. Like if she believed or she made herself believe that they actually had a chance of winning. So I did like that. I thought that was pretty funny here. The Keys booth says it ain't ballet. Yeah, we've heard that a million times. Wrestling ain't ballet. Although I feel like that is kind of insulting to ballet because I heard people like, I know that ballet is not necessarily easy either, all right? So for those people, I don't want the ballet community to come at me and be like, what do you mean it's not ballet? You think ballet is easy, girl? You go stand on your toes for however long and twirl. Definitely cannot twirl on my tippy toes. So seriously, that's how I feel about that. All right, guys, let's move on. All right, we have a comment from, actually, let's talk about Road Rager. Road Rager next week is shaping up to be looking pretty good here. So let's talk about the matches that have been announced for Road Rager. We have the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta for the tag team titles. And again, based on the opening match that we saw here today, we know that it is bound to be a pretty good one. I feel like tonight was just a tease. And obviously, we're going to see a lot more in next week's match. We have Cody versus QT Marshall in a South Beach strap match. So somebody go tell QT that he needs to just hit himself a bunch of times with the strap, to prepare, since that's apparently what you do for strap matches. You'll get that if you watch Raw, ladies and gentlemen. We're also going to have Andrade's in-ring AEW debut against Matt Sydal. So hopefully that is a good, fun match. And this match I know is going to be fun. It's going to be Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager versus Wardlow and FTR. And they're going to have on their corner Conan, which is going to be very fun because after last week, Conan literally had the best segment of the show. So I'm excited to see Conan come back at Road Rager. And then we're also going to be having the Jericho MJF standoff, which is when MJF should be announcing the stipulation. At least that is from my understanding from what he said in that promo. And then we have Chris Statlander, and Orange Cassidy versus the Bunny and the Blade. Jesus Christ, guys. For a second, I was like, oh my God, who is Chris Statlander teaming up with? Because my notes app changed Orange Cassidy to Avren Gassier. I was like, who the hell is Avren Gassier? But that was supposed to be Orange Cassidy. Avren Gassier, ladies and gentlemen. For a minute, I was like, what the hell? I was like trying to figure it out. Anyways, Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander versus the Bunny and the Blade. You heard it from me here, guys. Next week, we're going to see the debut of Avren Gassier, or Gassier, whatever. And then we're also going to have... That's it. That's all that's been announced so far. All right. Let's see if I missed anything here. All right, guys. We also had a backstage promo with Santana, Ortiz, and Hager. And this is essentially what I just said. They just essentially announced that they're going to have Conan in their corner. So I should have said that before. But anyways, let's jump into the main event, ladies and gentlemen, because what a main event it was. And I'm laughing because, hold on. We got some funny comments here. Haj Galashi says, wow, doesn't even know Avrin Gassir is. We have the Keysboo who says new rookie. Daniel Zambrano says Avrin Gassir confirmed for Road Rager. And yeah, seriously, guys. Avrin Gassir. Bloody Blue says, Denise, go home. You're drunk. And I was here talking about JR and WWE Dynamite. And I'm here calling Orange Cassidy Avrin Gassir. Oh, God. All right, let's do this. The main event, MJF versus Sammy Guevara. It's been a while since we've seen both of these guys in singles action. And all I got to say is we need more Sammy in singles matches because holy damn, this was a nice reminder of what Sammy can do. Obviously, this is like, we've been seeing Sammy in action, okay? But it's different when he's in a one-on-one match. We see a little bit more, okay? Right from the top, we see MJF run out of the ring right away. Definitely something that MJF would do. We see them both get into an inside cradle and they kind of go back and forth, getting several 2 counts there. We see Sammy do a springboard cutter, and then he does a Spanish God fly from the middle rope, which looks phenomenal. We see him do a tornillo and then a Canadian destroyer. I mean, it is literally nonstop here. Then we see a tombstone pile driver from the second rope from MJF to Sammy. And then finally, we see Sammy go to the top rope, hit a 630 senton. And right before that, though, we see MJF literally begging him. And he's like, no, don't do it. But he does it. Then we see Spears, Wardlow. They come out, but Jericho leaves the commentary table, goes at it with Wardlow. And Wardlow ends up tossing Jericho off the stage platform. And Spears uses... When Wardlow tosses off Jericho, the referee gets distracted. And so Shawn Spears uses that distraction to hit MJF. Sorry, not MJF, excuse me. To hit Yes. Okay. Sorry. He uses the chair to hit MJF to hit Sammy. Oh my gosh. To hit Sammy in the head. So he hits Sammy in the head with the chair. The referee doesn't see it. And that is how MJF gets the win. Guys, I might as well be Jim Ross right now. Holy cow. All right. That was the end of that. And I looked at the clock and we still had I think maybe 3 more minutes left on the show. So they start to do this video package and I'm thinking, oh, this is nice because, they're showing all of the memories that they moments that they've had at Daly's place and, this and that. And I'm watching on Sling. All right, everybody. So I don't know how many people here watch on Sling, but I kind of hate it. So this is my pet peeve about Sling. So when I'm watching live, for some reason, so on Sling, there's 2 sections, okay? There's a section where you can watch live, and then, so there's a section where you can watch live, and then they have a section where you can watch your recordings. So I could watch the recording, or I could watch the live version. It's really weird to explain. If you have Sling, you'll get me here. So I was watching the live version. When I click on the live version, my feed always cuts out maybe the last 30 seconds of a show, maybe 20, 15 seconds or so. It'll kind of trim that portion out. And so it did that again while I was watching tonight's show. And I thought, all right, cool. Well, it's just going to end with just the graphics of, the visual, the little video package that they're showing, this and that. I thought, all right, cool, whatever. And then I started seeing on Twitter about JR essentially ending things off by not saying AEW Dynamite, but instead saying WWE Dynamite. And I just thought, no. I was like, did he really? And I quote retweeted this and I was like, guys, did he really? And lo and behold, I got dozens of comments where people were like, yes, he did. And we already went into that at the top of this show, so I won't go into it again, but that was kind of how things went down. Obviously, AEW is going back on the road, so this was their, goodbye to Daly's place, and it was almost almost perfect. But guys, what were your thoughts on the main event? What were your thoughts if you guys missed the conversation earlier about JR and WWE Dynamite and all of that? Feel free to send in your comments. I'll be reading a couple more, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up this show. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Diva, we had a comment from Diva who just says WWE Dynamite. Oh God, guys. Yeah, I feel so bad. Honestly, Michael Hellman says, I use Sling, dumped it for YouTube TV. I was going to get YouTube TV, but YouTube TV is literally like double the price. I think it's like $60 and Sling TV is like $30. So, that's why I did not get YouTube TV. And Bosma Ray says they watch on Sling and that drives them crazy. Thank you. I'm not the only person that this happens to. It's terribly, terribly annoying. But here we go. We got some more comments here. This one is from Grunion, who says this main event was great. Hopefully the botch doesn't overshadow it. I think that's what you wanted to say, right? Haj Galassi says, Denise, it's okay. You're just flustered from the shock of learning about the upcoming debut of Avrin Gassir. Let's see what else we got here. Pro Wrestling Fan says, love the video package, but it was funny that people were saying, great package, but they're coming back to Daly's Place in August. Yeah, but that's like a whole month, though. And it's still like this bittersweet goodbye. You know what it felt like? You know what this video felt like, and the song and everything, like the emotions? It kind of felt like those graduation videos where you're like graduating and they're like, we had the time of our lives. And that one, what's that one song that they always play at every graduation? I think it's the Green Day song. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. I'm banking right now. I'm blanking. But anyways, that is exactly what this video package reminded me of. Like, AEW has graduated. They're leaving now. They're leaving Daly's Place. And I guess they're going to be back in August. But still, they're leaving. And they did such a nice, they had a lot of great things happen on there. Like when I was watching this video, I was like, oh man, they really had a lot of time here. Like, everything happened here, obviously everything in recent memory. So yeah. This is a comment from IVN 1989, and I have to agree with this, who says you shouldn't let JR slip up take away from a great show. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Obviously, it's something to talk about. But yeah, it shouldn't ruin everything, especially because that main event was really, really good. Thank you so much. This one is from everybody's telling me the song. The song is actually called is it Time of Your Life Time of Your Life, Good Riddance. That is the song that they play at every single graduation song. And someone says that the Vitamin C song is better. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. All right, we have another super chat. This one is from DKC Returns, who says, here's some money. Pay your bills. Thank you so much, DKC Returns. It's simple. It's easy. Thank you so much for sending in this super chat. All right, guys. I'm trying to get a last couple of comments here. If you guys want to send in your last thoughts on the show, anything we didn't touch on, you guys can go ahead and send it here. But in the meantime, friendly reminder, do not forget to check out my interview with Tommaso Ciampa. I'm trying to get more interviews, guys, and I've been having quite a few. I just talked to Frankie Monet. I talked to Raquel Gonzalez. I'm hoping to get some more AEW interviews. So I hope to get those coming. But seriously, guys, check out those interviews, because the more love, the more retweets, the more likes, the more comments, more engagement overall. And, hopefully they'll give me more stuff. If they see that people are watching and enjoying the interviews, I have a better chance of getting some more. So make sure you guys go ahead and show some love. Check those out. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter and/or on Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. And also do not forget to come back on Friday for Friday Night Smackdown. All right, guys, I think I got mainly everybody's comment here. I'm going to close this one off with Pillman Wrestling's comment, who says, love seeing AEW give Daly's Place a proper goodbye. WWE is like F the Thunderdome. We are back on the road. And our last super chat comes in from Brandon Rosen, who says, great episode overall. So many feuds to look forward to. I agree. A lot of stories are moving along, and I feel like they're setting things up very well for the return of, essentially being on the road and, being with these new faces, these new crowds. They're setting things up pretty well. At least that's how it feels. Pro Wrestling Fans says, great Dynamite and great stream by you, Denise. Have a good night. All right, guys, we'll end things there. Thank you guys so much once again. I'll see you guys back here on Friday. And if not, I will see you guys. Oh, we have one more. Sorry, guys. We have one more super chat from Cryptor C, who says, I think JR just slipped up. Thanks for taking it lightly. I feel some people are taking it too seriously. Yeah, he totally slipped up. Again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, if it was my show, it was my promotion, I would be upset. But I don't know how other people are going to take it. Obviously, I don't know. I don't think Tony Khan's going to be all that upset. Or, I don't really know, honestly. But I feel like I would be upset if it was my promotion. And I said that at the top of the show, so I will stick to that comment. But thank you so much to Crifter C for sending us in. Guys, thank you all so much for tuning into the show. Again, I will see you guys back here next Wednesday for AEW Dynamite once again. If you enjoyed this show, please spread the word. Let your friends and family or whoever you know in your life that watches wrestling to check out my show. Until next time, I'm Denise Salcedo. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.